Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to really get into it with prompt engineering for AI. We're using the Generative AI prompting guide, and
Yeah.
even for experts, I think this is going to be a pretty valuable resource.
It is. It is. Just using AI and mastering it, especially professionally, are two different things. And this guide really kind of gets into that.
Yeah, yeah. And one of the first things that I thought was interesting was how they break down the difference between just writing a prompt and what they call prompt engineering.
Right. And that is crucial. I mean, prompt crafting is, ad hoc. You need something, you do it. But prompt engineering is really thinking about, how do I make this scalable? How can I apply this across a range of tasks? And that leads to much more robust results from the AI.
Yeah, it's almost like the difference between writing a quick email and then really drafting a formal proposal. They both have their places, but they require different levels of thought.
That's a really good analogy, yeah. And something else this guide gets into is the importance of, really understanding user intent when you're thinking about these prompts. Are we focused on the user and what they're going to get out of it? Or are we focused on the task and what the AI is supposed to do?
Yeah, because it's not just about getting it to do something. It's about getting it to do the right thing in the right way.
Exactly. And there are a bunch of ways that you can do that this guide gets into. Like, for instance, zero-shot prompting, where you tell the AI to do something without giving it examples.
Interesting.
Which can be really powerful if you need something very general from the AI. Or multi-shot prompting, which is the opposite. You give it a bunch of examples.
Right.
And then there's the chain of thought prompting, where you're basically, walking the AI through the steps, which is good because then you can really understand how it's getting to its conclusion.
And for us as experts, that's really important. Not just what it's doing, but how it's doing it.
Absolutely. Now, another interesting thing they do is break down the types of prompts into three main categories: descriptive, inquisitive, and directive.
Yeah, I like that.
Let's start with descriptive. These are all about, setting the scene, giving the AI some background information that it can use to be more nuanced and relevant.
It's like you're painting a picture with words.
Exactly. And then inquisitive prompts. Those are just questions, trying to get information or insights.
Like, what are the key factors influencing this market trend or something like that?
Right. Just extracting that knowledge that's in the AI's, database. And then lastly, directive prompts. Those are all about telling the AI to do something very specific.
Write a blog post about X or create a presentation.
Exactly. You're putting the AI to work. So knowing how to work with those different types of prompts is super important.
Yeah. It's like having a set of tools. You're not going to use a hammer to tighten a screw. You know what I mean?
Right. So the key is knowing which tool is right for the job. And to do that, you have to know what the AI can do and the specifics of the task at hand.
Yeah, and this guide really lays that out. It gives us that deeper understanding so we can go from just using AI to really mastering it.
Yeah, for sure.
And that mastery is what's going to set us apart from, the casual AI users out there.
Exactly.
One thing I really liked about the guide was how practical it was. It's not just theory. It's like, here are the tools and techniques you can use.
Yeah. And one of the things I really appreciate is they address some of the problems that, we all run into. Like, they have a whole section on prompt problems and solutions, which is really helpful.
Yeah. It's like almost like a troubleshooting guide,
Right, exactly. So like one problem they talk about is asking ambiguous questions.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds obvious, but it's so easy to do. And the solution is pretty straightforward, right? Rephrase those questions so that they're really precise. Mm-hmm. And they even give us some templates that we can use, like refine and focus a question.
Yeah, I like that.
Another problem they point out is, failing to account for exceptions. Sometimes we assume the AI can handle anything we throw at it.
Yeah, like one algorithm to rule them all, right?
Right. But you got to think about the AI's limitations. So use templates like comparative prompting to help the AI understand, all those nuances.
Yeah, those edge cases. Yeah. And another thing that they talk about that I think is really important is providing enough context.
Oh, for sure.
It's not enough to just ask the question. Yep. You got to give it that background information.
That's like giving someone directions but not telling them where they're starting from.
Exactly. So use templates like information extraction.
Always include.
Yeah, there you go. And then another big one. This is so important for experts especially.
Yeah.
You got to iterate on your prompts.
You're not going to get it right the first time.
Nope, it's a process. So you try different things, you see what works.
Yeah, and they actually recommend using the AI to help you refine your prompts.
Interesting.
Like, there's a template, ask AI to improve a prompt.
Wow.
And Also, conversational prompting, like having that back and forth with the AI can really help you refine what you're asking.
That's cool. It's like you're collaborating with the AI.
Right. And then, and this is key, you got to give the AI very clear and specific instructions.
Like, it's not enough to say, write me a blog post. You got to say what it's about, the tone, the style.
Exactly. You got to be specific, like you're writing code.
Yeah.
And, break down those complex tasks into smaller steps.
So use those templates, like step by step.
Exactly. And also, how do you want the output? Do you want bullet points, a paragraph?
Right, like if you're ordering food, you got to say, hey, you want it cooked.
Right, otherwise you might get something you don't like.
Yeah, for sure. So use templates like markdown formatting to be specific.
Always include certain elements.
Yeah. Now, one last thing I wanted to touch on is making sure we're using the AI to its fullest potential.
Oh, yeah. It's easy to just use it for simple tasks, but it can
Right.
do so much more.
It's like we're only scratching the surface, so push the boundaries.
Exactly. Use templates like acting as or data extraction to really go deep.
Yeah, yeah. It's about like true innovation with AI.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's so cool about this guide. It gives us that roadmap to get there.
It really does. It gives you the knowledge, the tools, the techniques you need to be successful with AI.
And speaking of success, we got to give a shout out to the author, George Tome.
Oh, yeah. He's amazing.
His expertise really shines through in this guide. You can tell he knows his stuff.
Yeah, he's been doing this for over 30 years. He's a real thought leader in the AI space.
Yeah, and he's not just a tech guy. He's got a background in agile coaching and project management, so he really gets the practical side of things
Oh,
too.
for sure. He really gets it. Now, one thing that I thought was really interesting was this whole section on learning paths.
Oh yeah, tell me about that.
They've identified different types of learners.
Okay.
And one of the personas I think that really resonates with our audience today is the creator. They call him Casey.
Okay.
And Casey is all about, pushing the limits. They don't want to just use the existing templates. They want to create new ones. They want to combine them. They want to come up with like totally new solutions.
I love that.
Yeah, they see the big picture, they get how to connect the dots and use AI to really change the world.
It's about true innovation.
Exactly. So they have a whole learning path just for Casey's, the creators.
So cool.
Focusing on the more advanced stuff, getting people to experiment, really pushing those boundaries.
Yeah, it's not just about using AI. It's about becoming an innovator.
Exactly. And this guide is, the perfect tool for that.
So one thing I thought was really smart was this whole idea of the prompt templates, matrix, and repository. It seems simple, but it's a really powerful way to organize all of this stuff.
It really is. And especially for experts like yourself who are really diving deep into this world, having everything in one place like that is a game changer.
Yeah, it's like your master toolbox,
Exactly. And the matrix is great because you can categorize everything by complexity, by use case, by which AI model you're using.
Right, so you don't have to go digging through a million prompts to find the one you need.
Right. And the repository part means that those templates are always up to date. They're constantly being refined.
Yeah, it's a living, breathing resource. That's what's so cool about it.
It is. And it also allows for collaboration. People can share their templates, learn from each other. It's great.
Yeah, I love that community aspect.
Yeah.
Now, one last thing before we wrap up. The guide talks about continuous learning and refinement with prompt engineering.
Oh, yeah. That's key. It's not a learn it once and you're done kind of thing.
Definitely not. Things are changing so fast.
Exactly. New techniques are always coming out. The AI models are getting better all the time.
So we got to have that growth mindset, always be learning, always be experimenting.
And that's what I love about this guide. It encourages that. It gives you a framework for that ongoing learning.
Totally. So to sum it all up, I think there are a few big takeaways here. One, prompt engineering is essential if you want to really master AI. Two, this guide is like the Bible of prompting. It's got everything you need.
Yeah. Great advice, examples, tools. It's all there.
And three, this field is constantly changing. So we got to stay on top of it, always be learning.
Couldn't agree more. And it's not just about the technical stuff. There's an art to it too,
Oh, absolutely. You got to be creative. You got to be intuitive.
You got to understand what the AI can do. It's a real skill.
It is. So embrace the challenge, experiment, have fun with it. Who knows? Maybe you'll discover the next big breakthrough in AI prompting.
Exactly. Well, this has been great. Really enjoyed diving into this with you.
Me too. I always learn so much from these conversations.
Likewise. And to all our listeners out there, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of prompt engineering.
Keep those prompts sharp.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.